another presentation. I would say not even a presentation, another event today. Let's call it an event today for what we call the faith and entrepreneurship events. And in particular, we have a very esteemed colleague today with Marylyn. Marylyn Harris has a very amazing career. Before I go into that, though, I want to give a little bit of housekeeping so you all remember. Just remember to keep your mics muted. We all know that. We've gone to the Zoom protocol nowadays. Keep your mics muted. Later on, we're going to have a Q&A. So during the Q&A, you can open up your mic, ask questions. Please ask questions. It's always better to get some your voices heard, your thoughts out there. You know, and silence doesn't necessarily mean you're happy. You know what I'm saying? Just share. And that's about it. We're going to get going, talk a little bit about Ms. Harris. She is an executive and leads, and she, as she says, leads with impact, brings 25 years of healthcare industry leadership experience. She is a distinguished vet. Applause to our vet. A prestigious record in community service, diversity. She was, I think it was awarded by Barack Obama, Champion of Change honoree. Congratulations on that. That was in 2013. That's a big award for her. Currently, she is president and senior business consultant at Harlan Healthcare, where she's dedicated her last 13 years. A very dedicated, loyal employee she is. And also entrepreneur. She is a founder and executive director of the Women's Veteran Business Center, which I have worked with, and absolutely amazing. If any vets out there, women business vets, definitely have to give her a call later on. She is amazing at that and dialing in and helping out women vets. Awesome work. Nonprofit, by the way, started in 2010, 11 years ago now. Almost
11 years this
11
year.
Years, 11 years of love, as they say. In Houston, here in Houston. They have a mission of educating and empowering women and also helping them start and grow professional careers, wealth generating vet-owned businesses. And finally, as we all know, Ms. Harris is a dedicated University of St. Thomas School of Business alumni. She graduated in 2017, just a short bit ago, right?
2007.
Oh, sorry, 2007. Thank you for the correction, 2007. And she dedicated many years of working here as a nursing adjunct faculty. So she also taught here at the University of St. Thomas and dedicated her time and effort of teaching students and passing along her great wealth of knowledge. We are honored with her service and with her contribution today. And with that, Marylyn, take it away.
Thank you. I have begun my timer and I want to say hello and welcome to everyone. Thank you for spending your lunch hour with me. And thank you for being here today to talk about entrepreneurship and lots of faith. I want to specifically thank you, Patrick, and the McNair Center for hosting me. And I'm going to get started. Today, I'm going to speak briefly about my non-traditional nursing career and share some valuable lessons that I learned from being a non-traditional nurse with an entrepreneurial spirit. Some of you can resonate with that, being non-traditional in your space. I will leave you with information and resources. And if you're curious about the business of healthcare, entrepreneurship, and cybersecurity, contact me. I'll leave you my contact information. I'll also leave you with a few stories about how healthcare, business, and cybersecurity go together and are a perfect fit. Uh-oh, I did a big swipe. There's my story. And here we are. That's a picture of me to the left. I'm honored to be the 2019 City of Houston Memorial Day ceremony speaker. That had never happened before 2019, that a woman veteran that was not a high-ranking officer, that was a war veteran, that was a disabled veteran, that was African-American, had a chance to have this distinguished honor. I was allowed, after paying homage to our fallen service members and their families, to tell the story of women veterans. We live in a city with over 30,000 women veterans. We call Houston home. And Texas is home to the largest concentration of women veterans, over 171,000, according to the Center for Women Veterans at the VA. That's why I started my business here. We'll talk about that a little later. This slide is gonna just show you the logos of the last 30 years of my life. I just want to tell you that for my entire life, I've been caring for others. My mother died when I was very young. I was only 8, And so a relative, her sister, raised me, and I instantly became the oldest child in the house and had to take care of two younger cousins. I was 8 years old. So by the time I became a teen, I knew I wanted to go to college, and I knew what I did not want to be. I did not want to be a nurse. I felt as though I had nursed long enough, taking care of my cousins, taking care of the household, and nursing was just too hard. So I went to college. I majored in biology. I planned to go to medical school. Then life hit. I ran out of money. And guess what I did? You guys, I want you to put in the chat. What do you think I did next? Do we have the chat enabled, Patrick?
It's enabled. They're just taking a little while.
Okay. Think about it. What would you do in this situation? You run out of money in college. Many of you have experienced this because I've worked with students at St. Thomas for many years. What I did is I went in the Army. Yes, the Army. You say from home to the Army? Yes, that's what I did. It actually was one of the best decisions I made in my life. Not at the time, but looking back on it in hindsight. So after basic training, that's when I moved to the great state of Texas. I got here as soon as I could. And the Army sponsored me to go to school to get an education. That's when I went to Houston Community College. And you'll never guess what I studied: nursing. The thing that I said I didn't want to be. That opportunity became available. I studied nursing at Houston Community College. I was the LVN in 1987. Then I went to Prairie View A&M University and received my bachelor's in nursing. I also was interrupted in my studies at Prairie View. That was when I went to war. I had been involved with the Army Reserves, and I was chosen to deploy to war. War is an abnormal life experience. However, if you survive it, in many, many ways, you're better for it on the back end. And that's the way I look at that experience. I'm just going to take a minute of silence for all the veterans and all the fallen veterans now, because they mean so much to me. So over time, I went to all of these schools. I deployed to war. I learned lessons from being in the Army. I was physically wounded while at war, and I had incurred invisible wounds. But when I returned back to civilian life, and back to Houston, I jumped right back in, started studying, finished my bachelor's degree. Today, I have worked at every hospital in the Texas Medical Center except one, Shriners, and over the last 30 years, from the Army, working in the Texas Department of Corrections, just in jails, from going to Harvard, from going to Dartmouth, I have continued my passion for learning. Here's my first lesson learned. Great entrepreneurs love to learn. Great entrepreneurs love to learn. If you love to learn, put yes in the chat. If you feel a different way, put that in the chat. Notice, I went to UT School of Nursing for my master's. My master's is in psychiatric mental health nursing. What I learned later is that background was perfect training for business and for cybersecurity. Behavioral health, neuroscience, understanding how the brain works, understanding why people do the things that they do, position me for a career in cybersecurity decades later that I never imagined I would have. So after I finished business school at St. Thomas, I attended St. Thomas from 2003 to 2007. It was a 2-year program, but it took me 4 years because I was a single mom of 2 little kids, and I had to bring them to campus with me, and I had to take a minimum load to get through and manage everything else in my life. So I'm not saying this entrepreneurial journey is going to be easy, but it is doable. I'm testimony to that. So 2 years after I finished business school, look to the left, there's a place called America's Small Business Development Center. This is the first resource I want you to write down, the Small Business Development Center. We have a fabulous one here in the city of Houston. I've been going there weekly for training and business coaching ever since 2006. You can also notice in the middle, I'm a graduate of UT Health School of Biomedical Informatics, where I studied in 2009 healthcare information technology. You say, enough, enough, enough with this school. Well, you're going to either do it through study and learn through a traditional means as an entrepreneur, or you're going to do it through market research that you conduct yourself. Because why? You have to stay competitive. You have to keep up with the market needs. Let's see, nurses, you may not ever think, except the young lady I met, Holly. Holly has already thought about the fact that she's going to be something more than a nurse. She also has taken the first step towards being something more than a nurse is faith. You step out on faith. That's what I did. So you can be more than one thing in your life. And if you are a nurse, you are a leader, you are innovative, and you are smart. You can be a nurse and so much more. You can actually be anything. In my undergraduate program, in my penning ceremony book, I wrote what I wanted to be for the rest of my life. And I wanted to be something I had only seen in one other woman. It was something called a nurse entrepreneur. This was in 1992. I didn't even know what it was, but I just had a gut level feeling that this is what I needed to do. And in 2021, I am this person. I am this woman. And I attribute it all to faith, grit, hard work, and perseverance. So after I graduated from UT School of Nursing, there in the middle, I worked on the streets of Houston in the missions and shelters with the homeless, mentally ill. This was exhausting work, tough. And I actually came to a point where I was burnt out. Let's look at some slides. I worked at TDC. That was my first job after LVN school. I worked at MD Anderson in the ER. That was my first job after my RN program. I went to war during nursing school. I did not graduate with my class. I graduated a year later because I was busy serving this country. Look at all in 30 years, the types of nursing I've practiced. Medical, surgical, neurology. I've been a nurse educator at 5 schools of nursing, including the PV School of Nursing here. And I want to give a shout out to Dr. Lucinda Campbell Law, an excellent educator, friend, and sister. Oncology nurse. I've been a nurse in prisons. I've nursed during peacetime and wartime with military personnel. I've been a psychiatric nurse, a research nurse, and a missionary in a foreign country. Nurse there too. I have a second resource for you. It helps me tremendously, and I've written a story about a pivotal patient that I serviced for a year in this book. It's called What Color is Your Brain? What color is your brain when caring for patients? Please get a copy of this book, do the assessment, and understand how your personality and your brain works and how your patient's personality and brain works. It will help you in your entrepreneurship career. And take a look at the Nikki Giovanni quote. My biggest contemporaries and critics were other nurses. They felt that I had betrayed nursing by leaving nursing after graduate school. I just share with you that I was burnt out. So what did I do? I did a necessary pivot. Look at this. Who knows this lady? I agree with Miss Florence Nightingale. It was no reason I couldn't move into business. There's no reason I can't move into cybersecurity. There's no reason I can't move into any field I want to move into. Nursing is an excellent foundation. You know so much. When you sit in boardrooms with other educated people that are educated in other disciplines, you have advantage as a nurse because you know about our most precious assets on this planet, people. You know how people's bodies work. You know about medications. You know about treatments. You know about the brain, how the brain works. You know a lot more than you give yourself credit for, nurses. So I did a necessary pivot. Uh-oh, sorry. My screen is a little slippery for some reason. Give me 1 second, guys. There it is. I'm missing a slide. Ah. Okay. My pivot, there's a slide that I'm missing in this, but my pivot was to pharmaceutical sales. My drug reps at the clinic where I work for the Mental Health Authority of Houston asked me, would you ever consider doing anything else, Marylyn? I said, are you kidding? I just finished nursing school. That was hell. I just finished a master's, 900 clinical hours. No, I've never seen myself as anything other than a nurse. So I took a chance. I was hired by Eli Lilly Pharmaceuticals, and I sold Prozac and another new drug they were launching, an atypical antipsychotic to treat schizophrenia. It was a perfect fit for me, except for one reason. But for all the other reasons, it was perfect. I knew neuroscience, I knew psychiatry. I worked with psych patients for the last several years. And now I was just working with doctors and talking about the merits of treatments. The one thing that was a deficit of mine is I didn't know anything about business. I had never had a business class in nursing school. And that's a challenge with many curriculums of nursing. So what did I do? I worked 2 years for Eli Lilly. I was a consistent performer. And I came back to Houston and I started my MBA life. And I went to the best MBA school that could have possibly existed for me, the Cameron School of Business at the University of St. Thomas. I was the only nurse in the school. I was lost. I had to take managerial economics 3 times. Does anybody know what managerial economics is? Well, it was very hard for me. On the 3rd time I passed, but I refused to give up. St. Thomas is an international school. I made wonderful friendships with my colleagues. And I was able to travel to 5 continents to study business. In South America, I went on a study abroad. And on all the other continents, I studied by myself. I studied in Beijing. I studied in Cape Town, South Africa. I studied in London and throughout the Caribbean because I understood what I was missing. I needed to understand the world of business. There it is. There's my Lilly slide to the left. There's my Prozac. This is a jumbled slide, but it talks about my entrepreneurship life. A couple months ago, St. Thomas did an article on me, the media department, and I appreciate it because the Houston Business Journal, out of hundreds of women, named me as a 2020 woman who means business. And then far to the right at the bottom, we were just notified that Thursday, the Women Veterans Business Center, you'll see the logo on the top, was named a helping hand organization in creating diverse businesses in Houston. So there's the 1-page business plan that you can start on now to help develop your business model. I'm sure if you're in school or you're working with the McNair Center, you've already done this. For those of you that haven't, take a look at this. And then this is the second book resource I want you to seriously consider. Strengths Finder. Do you know your top 3 strengths? What are your strengths? I really would like you, I know you say I'm in school, I'm saturated with books. This is a book that will help you form your conversation about who you are and what is your personal value proposition in business. I learned that my top strength is strategic. So this nurse, me, in 2015, becomes the top Black MBA of the year. Pretty amazing, just from being a nurse and hustling hard. Truthfully, this is what happened when you step out on faith. I am having a terrible time with my slider. Then my school, one of them, UT Health, named me the distinguished nurse, not because I was a great nurse, but because I did something different. I innovated. I started the country's first Women Veterans Business Center. I traveled around the country teaching women veterans and military family members how to start and grow businesses. And 3 years after we started, We were called by the Obama White House and honored at the White House by the President, First Lady, the Secretary of the VA, and so many other generals and high-ranking officials that I had never met in my military life. So you never know what you can do unless you walk within your purpose. I did not want to do this work. When I got into business school, I wanted to be a traditional MBA with a good job and a pretty car. But I chose at the end not to take a corporate job when I finished St. Thomas. I started 2 businesses, a healthcare consulting business as a federal contractor and a nonprofit to help other women like me start and grow businesses. There's a letter from the president. Now I want to tell you how, and there's a picture of the day with Mrs. Michelle Obama talking that we were at the White House. To the left is the Secretary of the VA at that time, General Shinseki. It was a day I will never, ever forget. And I got to take my kids. And then I could say, see, mommy told you it was worth it to get an MBA. Some lessons learned as I take these into cybersecurity and close. Let's see what my time is like. I have about 2 minutes. Love yourself first. Get to know yourself. Make yourself your priority. Be a lifelong learner. Make your dreams happen. I'm used to wearing combat boots, so kick in the doors so you can sit at the table. If they don't have a chair for you, like Shirley Chisholm said, the first Black woman that ran for president, bring a folding chair yourself when you get in there. Number 5, lift others as you climb and love them and always serve them. I'm going to share these slides with anybody that wants them. This is me in the lab at my first cybersecurity school. Cybersecurity found me. I was volunteering, and it was no reason why somebody that had been protecting people's secrets and personal health information her whole life, somebody that was business savvy, had a MBA, could understand the enterprise, and somebody that could learn what she didn't know in technology. It was no reason for somebody like that not to embrace cybersecurity, especially when ransomware and hacks cost America over almost $21 billion last year. And then look at the hospital hacks. Look at the news. Look at the patient's records breaches. Look at the death rate growing. I know one lady died from a ransomware attack at her hospital in Dusseldorf, Germany. But more deaths are going to occur because the hackers are not going to stop. That's why healthcare needs cybersecurity professionals, and nurses can make great cybersecurity professionals. These are the cybersecurity events I've been to: Black Hat, DEF CON, the Diana Initiative. I was the graduate scholar for the HIMSS organization, which is Healthcare Information Management Systems. And then, I have been to women's conferences for women in technology and women in cybersecurity. I've been to 100 technology events in the last 2 years. I promise. I think I have something slippery on my finger. Why cybersecurity? Because we're needed. Nurses excel in health information security and privacy protection. Nurses and cybersecurity are careers that are both in demand, and you can combine them. There's over 500,000 cybersecurity openings today in the United States, and over 3.5 million, and Eric can confirm this today, cybersecurity openings in all areas of cybersecurity, and it is vast in the world. So this is a global opportunity. No degree is necessarily required. However, you do have to earn and be skilled in professional certifications. And I encourage you to look at this one, HCISPP, Healthcare Information Security and Privacy Practitioner. As I close, I just want to show you some of the resources I received. The lady to the second right is the CEO of SAIC, an $8+ billion company. She identified me and a couple other students, and they flew us to Washington and gave us $5,000 towards our education. I have never paid anything for my cybersecurity education. And it is expensive. Black Hat costs $2,400 to just walk into. My accomplishments in cyber so far have been exciting. Scholarships, grants, paid conference attendance, attending 100 tech events. I've been a national conference speaker. I've even been appointed to 2 university cybersecurity program advisory boards. What a blessing. And then I have an initiative that I want to, as I close, invite all of you to. With Microsoft. Monthly, we host a free virtual Women, Veterans, and Military Families Tech Career and Tech Startup Business Initiative. It's an hour on a Saturday. We have engaging speakers. I give out a lot of free information. Right now, so much is free in technology. I know I talked a lot. I am hyped and excited about my cybersecurity career. I never, ever, ever, ever plan to stop working in cybersecurity because I can do it wherever I am and work with it in my hand, on my phone, on my tablet, on my laptop, and I can work all around the world from now until the day I expire. Think about it, increase your faith, and God bless you all.
Marylyn, that's a great message. And I just want to before we have a Q&A, I just want to say that, there's really a couple of things that really stand out. And I think you hit on them, is this idea of stepping out, that you entered in the field of nursing and even though you embraced nursing, you stepped out of it to do something different. Even though you stepped in or you went into cybersecurity, you're still stepping out even now in finding new ways of bringing cybersecurity and your knowledge of nursing together, right? And another example is when you're in the military, you had that amazing experience in the military, and you took it and you made this great organization here in Houston to help other women business owners. Once again, stepping out again, right? Not following the protocol. You set your own way, and that's really what an entrepreneur does. That's really a beautiful thing that you did.
Patrick, I didn't play it, but I have Frank Sinatra's song in the slide deck, and it's called My Way. If you want some inspiration, you guys listen to that song.
Oh yeah, I bet Frank probably could have had you write it for him.
Thank you.
Probably could have right from. So let's have a little Q&A. Remember, you can go ahead and either ask questions in the chat. If you just want to type them, I can relay them, or if you just want to just unmute your mic and ask, go right ahead. We're open mic right now, so go ahead and ask any questions that you have. Either way is okay.
Okay, I have one question.
Okay, go ahead.
What exactly are you doing within the cybersecurity field?
I am getting my certification now, 3 of them, actually. One is CompTIA Security Plus. That's like a beginning certification just to determine that the person knows about the network and then knows about how to secure the network. The second one is Certified Network Defender. And there's a lot of certifications in cybersecurity. And so this one is a bit more advanced on how to defend against attackers. And then I just completed my Certified Ethical Hacker course. You guys may have heard of that, but it's very complicated and it's a very sought after certification. I am doing test prep starting on Monday for 2 weeks on each certification. And so I plan to have those by the end of whatever 6 weeks end is, whenever that is. And what I plan to do is do what I do now, consult with organizations that don't have a healthcare person on their team. They don't have anyone that understands the healthcare industry. It's a piece of malware. It's called the man in the middle, but I'm like the woman in the middle. So I can pivot and I can dialogue with the medical team. I can talk medical terms. I can pivot again and I could talk with the IT team. I could talk the OSI model. I could talk breaches. I could talk packet infarctions. And then I can combine it together and help everybody understand everybody's position. I am a mediator. I am a consultant. I am a very, very valued member of the team because the information in my head and all those 30 years of nursing and healthcare industry experience and history, the other people on the team don't have. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you so much. You're a woman of many talents. It's quite impressive.
You can do it too.
I've
I
got
believe I can. Just takes time.
It takes time. It takes time.
Omar's not got a problem. I got a question if you don't mind. What's your next field? Huh?
I really don't have one right now. I'm just loving cybersecurity. I will tell you a secret.
Yeah.
I am thinking about moving into, let me just back this up. So my undergraduate degree is from a school, a precious school to me called Prairie View A&M University. It's a historically Black college and university. And on the campus, about an hour outside of Houston, away from St. Thomas, they have a 700-acre farm. I love that farm. My son went to Prairie View, and he's an agriculture major. So while he was in school for 4+ years, I was on that farm learning about medicinal plants. I am really thinking about agricultural cybersecurity.
Wow. Okay. Very cool.
I know I talk a lot, you guys. If you have a question, somebody said go into the Army so they can pay for you. They did help somewhat. Texas has the best benefits for military people, so that helps a lot too. You know, St. Thomas is not a cheap school, but I tell you, you get a rich education. After my St. Thomas education, I have walked through some doors that I never, ever would have imagined. And so was it worth it? Yes, most definitely, yes. I was able to pay for my whole education. I have no loans. I'm kind of like, I always was a hacker, but a different kind of hacker. I was always in the library when you had to go to the library looking for scholarships. I'm always looking for scholarships. I'm always hunting. I'm always researching. One other resource I want to give you, please take this in the spirit that it's given. It's the Houston Public Library. They have a business department. Get a library card. I love research librarians. They are some of the smartest people on this planet, and they will work and do some of the work for you. So get a library card from the Houston Public Library. I know you have the great library at St. Thomas, but see what additional benefits they have. It's free, and your taxpayer dollars pay for it.
Absolutely. Okay. That's a great suggestion. I was always a big fan of the, especially growing up, you know, libraries were the one place if you wanted to get knowledge, right? Before the internet, right? And I think there's still a lot to be said about there, just because when you go to a library, you're like in that knowledge space, you know, and versus like if you're sitting at a cafe at the Starbucks, you know, you may be engrossed, but someone walks up and says hello, and then you completely, you know, kind of forgot about it.
Plus, you're susceptible to COVID. I'm a contact tracer. but I mean it. I can tell you, Dr. Campbell Law and I went to graduate school together. That's where we met in the early 90s. And this was our schedule: work all day, 8 hours. I worked at MHMRA, come to school. We got off early in the evenings from 4 to 7. After 7, we would leave UT on Holcomb and go straight over to the Medical Center Library. That was during the years in the 90s. You know, we didn't have where you can sit at home and interact with the library and get your work done. We had to go sit, you know, on the floor or in the chairs and get our resources, copy articles. It was rich. It taught me how to hunt. You will need that skill in business. It taught me how to look for and find information. One thing I forgot to mention, you may be saying, how did you start your businesses? I started my businesses by entering business plan competitions. I won over $10,000. I traveled all around the country because I knew I had a great idea, starting the Women Veterans Business Center. I had so many things going for me. You have to first, like I said, lessons learned. Love yourself, know yourself. Do a self-assessment of your strengths, what you have going for you. The fact that you're listening to this presentation at the McNair Center is the strength, because when you stand yourself up against other entrepreneurs, they maybe have not gotten this kind of tutelage and training and insight from somebody that's walked this walk. So if there's a certificate you can get from this presentation, nursing entrepreneurship presentation participant, Please think about that, Patrick, because when you go, you should take your brag book with you. Take everything you have. I'm bringing everything I have to cybersecurity, military, healthcare, nursing, business, all of it. I love it.
Amazing. You have so much energy. One of the, Edwin asked a question, and I'm going to relay it to you, that what are some of the books? You mentioned some of the books as we went through the presentation.
Oh, I have this horrible thing on right now. Oh, you can see it. Strength Finder 2.0 by Tom Rath.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, the next slide has my LinkedIn. My name is, look on the chat feature, Marylyn, Marylyn Harris. I have a robust LinkedIn profile. I try to post every day, and the Women Veterans Business Center has one. You're welcome to join that, and you really are welcome to come to our tech boot camps. We're going to have some exciting people come. This is the second book, What Color Is Your Brain? And this one is When Caring for Patients. And the author is a delightful woman I met while I was traveling the country teaching entrepreneurs, Sheila, Shelia Glazov, Glazov. I use this in a lot of my trainings. I hope you can see that. It's orange on the top. You can look at her. She has videos all throughout the internet. First, know your strengths. Know in one word what your strengths and competencies are, because you only have a minute with people. People are more busy now during this pandemic than they were, busy or preoccupied than they were previously. So if you're going to say something to them, if you have that opportunity, it has to be valuable, something that'll make them stop in their tracks, or else they're going to keep on going. They're going to miss you. They're going to miss your brilliance. Anybody an introvert that's thinking about starting a business?
Well, I'm actually a high introvert. And so I think Holly as well. Yeah, Holly.
If you are an introvert, you're going to have to talk. Just get your strategic words that you're going to say and customize them to the situation, but you have to talk. If you are an introvert, obviously I'm not an introvert. I did well in that area. And then I have a lot to talk about. Yeah. I'm a speaker, I'm a writer. I have 30 years of patient experiences that I haven't even mentioned. Use everything you have. I worked at a nasty jail. I went to war and lived outside. We were bombed. Oh gosh, I could tell story after story and tie it in with why you should use my services, because I'm reliable, I'm a leader, I believe in getting your product to you on time. You just tell the story and you be authentically you. People resonate well with that, I found.
Marylyn, we had one more question. Oh, you want to?
Hello.
Add? Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much for everything. I was wondering, if I want to go into cybersecurity, what is the first thing you would recommend I do? Because I know if I do my research, I will find a lot of things on the internet.
You will. Now, cybersecurity is a big word, and it encompasses many, many roles, okay? I have a very small piece that I'm targeting, and I'm leveraging my strengths of being in the healthcare industry. That's why I picked that certification to share with you. Healthcare information security and privacy. You can do so many things. So, one of the things you could do is you could look at one of the women in cybersecurity organizations, because they usually have current stats and they talk about the roles, many roles of women, and give examples of powerful women in cybersecurity. So look at women in cybersecurity. That's one organization. Women in security and privacy. Grace Hopper celebration. It's an amazing event. It was in Houston in 2018, and I went, and I mean, they just brought me in. And this is, Grace Hopper is a celebration of women in all types of technology. And then I want you to connect with me. You're welcome to come to our events. There's no charge. We're just talking tech. We have people talking about gaming, data analytics, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence. I'm in a program with Dr. Sunny because I'm trying to develop an artificial intelligence solution. This is exciting. This has gotten me through the pandemic. I'm not depressed. I'm excited about all the potential opportunities. And you guys know Google's coming, right? Google is building a $50 million facility in Houston, and it's going to be focused on Google Cloud, those operations. The Ion is already here downtown. Houston is finally catching up. I started my cyber career in San Antonio. It's much more tech forward than Houston, but Houston is on it now. Houston is trying to get this together. If you have an idea, join some of the local groups when we can go out. You can join them now virtually. Please call me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for even considering it. It's a big jump, I know, but it looks like a big jump on the front end. But when you get into it a little bit, you're like, I know this stuff, and the stuff you don't know, you can learn.
Very good. Any other questions?
Is everybody from nursing school? Is the programmer in nursing school?
Omar isn't. No.
No, I'm not.
All right. What is your major?
Finance MBA.
Wonderful, wonderful. See, if I don't have many regrets, but one of them is if I could went back to my MBA and did management information systems along with international business, I would have done that if I knew then what I know now, because that would have gave me an in into technology. When I started my technology career, I started classes at the community college. I got a full scholarship from Texas Workforce. And I was sitting in class with 19-year-olds. Now, clearly, I'm just about 3 years older than them, but it was a big adjustment for me. Don't laugh, Patrick. But I mean, you have to make some concessions to get a cybersecurity education. Black Hat, I go into Black Hat, I'm excited. You know, I'm a Black Hat scholar, so I fly there. They have a hotel for me. When I get there, as soon as I get there, they give me a big flowers and fruit basket, and I go to Black Hat. It's like 22,000 guys, and then you have to scramble in the woman's bathroom and find a woman. You're like, I just want to stand by a woman. I'm just tired of all these guys. But and they all have the same backpack, and they all have on jeans and sneakers. You're like, God, somebody relieve me from this. But eventually,
Who left the coffee machine on?
You find your tribe of women. I have found my tribe of women in some of those organizations, and there's a lot in Houston. So please stay in touch. I really mean that. Even if you just stay in touch virtually, I'm on LinkedIn every day, and we have a Twitter feed, which is called Women That's Biz.
Okay.
Eric,
thank you so much.
Is Eric still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Eric, so I just shared a little bit more about me. What do you think?
Oh, man, you're rocking and rolling.
You're very kind. You're very kind. Eric is doing some very important work at St. Thomas, and I really, really support it. Another regret, man, years ago, if that was going when I was at St. Thomas, I would have stayed an extra year or so. I did walk into the theater just shortly before I graduated, and I was able to participate with a St. Thomas alumni in a movie. And so that's my claim to fame before I graduated. But if I would have been in IT 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't be working anymore. I would just be somewhere relaxing, doing some real fun stuff. So it's such a wonderful opportunity.
I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat my email. And if anybody's interested in the new BA in global cybersecurity, just go ahead and just shoot me an email, and we can talk about what the program's going to look like and some of the things that we're going to do.
I have a question, Patrick. I looked online and I saw that I was delighted and taken aback at the same time, because I have never seen this anywhere at St. Thomas. There was a column on your page and it said nurse entrepreneurship. I actually had to sit down because I've been talking to people about this for many years and I was getting ignored. And so I think that is delightful. I know nurses have a lot to do and think about at school, but a lot of them are entrepreneurial. Most nurses are entrepreneurial. You get to the unit, something's not there. You got to put something together to make happen what needs to happen. And you don't even think about it. We're inventing things, we're changing and improving processes. I mean, we're very talented and skilled, but nobody, just like women veterans, that's why I started my organization. Nobody ever said to us, you can be an entrepreneur. That's what's stopping a lot of people. And if you ever hear that, then the next step is you got to have faith, just a little bit of faith to step out there and see what's out there, just like you did. How do you pronounce your name, ma'am? Acha?
Sure.
Yes, how do you
Achuko.
pronounce it?
Achuko.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for at least having a concern. And then for the next step, if you take it, stepping out on faith to find out what is this? It's going to be some crazy terms like the OSI model and script kitty and all these Splunk and Metasploit. You're like, what in the world? But it's going to all make sense. Just hang in there.
And I think with that, we're going to finish up. I think it's a great way to finish up today's speaking event. And I want you to know that this has absolutely been amazing to see both sides of you and to see how it comes together. I think you're they say the secret sauce. You're the secret sauce. You're the secret sauce that brings them
Thank
together.
you. I'm going to quote that.
No, it's good.